Okay, so the next panel is my little pet project, a word I just learned from Liz. I really wanted to cover the power of the crowds. And because I have a weakness for projects that are based in the crowds. We have this afternoon adtriboo, one of the projects that we'll be presenting, based on crowdsourcing for creative talent. We're also all the ones that are covering all the pictures and photos here. It's the crowd media coverage company. It is amazing what working all together thanks to the web, what all together we can do. So thanks to, today we're going to have Enrique Dans, professor at IE Business School, having a conversation about the power of the crowds with Carlos Silva, the president of Seedrs, one of the first crowdfunding platform based on equity. So please welcome them with a big applause.
Okay. So it's a really nice opportunity to be here, first of all because of the audience and the way the audience assembles around these ideas and this, well, all the enthusiasm that you can see and perceive and feel here. And secondly because, well, I'm a professor. You know, professors, we are professors because we cannot do anything. People who can do things, they do things, and those who cannot do anything, we teach. So the funny thing is that I'm here, the nice opportunity is that I'm here with Carlos, and Carlos is one of these guys that does things. He actually does things, and he created something, and I think it's a very complementary, or we can try to do something very complementary. I'm going to cover, for the most, crowdsourcing, the classic view of crowdsourcing, and then he's probably going to expand a little bit more on equity crowdsourcing, which for me is, of course, something that is happening, is going on, and I'm following with a lot of interest, but I'm just following it. He's doing it. So that's why I think it's a great opportunity. So should I start? Or
Please do.
Okay. Cut me whenever you want, because you know I'm a professor, so I speak. We are like the perfect gases. We feel every space available. Let's see. Most of the craziness about crowdsourcing started with Kickstarter. There were other initiatives before, but Kickstarter has been the one that has been really able to make it big, to generate headlines. A lot of what is so special about Kickstarter? What do you think is? Well, first of all, crowdsourcing is a matter of transaction costs. Only the internet has been able to put together all the conditions to make crowdsourcing actually feasible. So what happened with Kickstarter? Kickstarter started as a way, for the most, to fund creative projects. So for the most, it was people trying to do films, movies, or comics, or mainly creative projects. For this type of people, it was Kickstarter was a place to go there, try to convince others with trailer or ideas, or to engage in the project and say, hey, I would like to see this happening, to make this happening. And people were like buying into the project and making the project actually happening. What happened? Well, after a while, the projects, if you check the statistics, Kickstarter is a very, very interesting place because they make most of their statistics public. It's really transparent. You can see, you can follow the trends there. Well, the big trend on Kickstarter is actually consumer electronics. So something happened there that made these other type of projects, who were not based on creativity, a big chunk of the projects being funded at Kickstarter. What do you think happened there? Well, actually, another revolution going on. The makers' revolution, all the things going around this idea of microelectronics for the masses, all these Raspberry Pi projects, Arduino, 3D printing, all these things that are making easier for entrepreneurs to come up with ideas and turn them into real things, into real objects, into atoms. So all this revolution around this Arduino and Raspberry Pi and all these projects are lowering the barriers of entry for fast prototyping, for people to be able to do things with atoms that previously they were only able to do with bits. Still, I mean, if you check now, if you cross the street and go to IE and check most of the projects that are happening in entrepreneurship, in the entrepreneurship department, they are still, most of them, related with bits. But there's a huge trend going towards atoms, doing things with atoms. And for this type of things where you were able to create a prototype and show it to the world and tape a video and show it and try to get people to engage in the project, this was a very, very big opportunity. So what is actually Kickstarter giving these projects? Well, there's three main factors. The first one is, of course, money. But not just money, but money in the moment when you really need the money. What does it mean to put your project in Kickstarter or some other places that do this type of initiatives? Well, you get the money beforehand. You get the money before you produce the project. You get the money. The money gets comes forward in time because you are putting the idea there for others to believe in, to buy into the idea and make it happen. So it's a matter of pre-sales in many cases. Even though Kickstarter is trying to fight against this idea, and they keep saying they wrote a very interesting post in their blog saying that Kickstarter is not a market. It's not a place to sell things. It's not a place to sell stuff. It's something different. It's a place to make things happen, to engage in a conversation between entrepreneurs and the market, and the people who really want to make these projects happen. The second thing is, it's extremely important, community. Creating community around the projects. For any of you who are entrepreneurs, you will quickly realize that having a community around is extremely important for any project. Feeling like the support from the people, getting ideas, that's extremely important, getting feedback, and it's actually one of the most critical success factors for projects in crowdfunding, is leaving some avenues open for people to contribute. And the third thing, of course, is word of mouth. When people get into the project, they also contribute to diffusion through social networks, etc. So this is also making it very important. And the third thing is something that people are realizing on this latest stage of Kickstarter, is market research. Using crowdfunding as a market research tool. In some cases you have the idea, you may even have in some cases the money to start the idea, but what you really want to know is how many people might be interested in such an idea. The most salient example of that is that guy that was trying to put together an aquarium for jellyfishes. He was completely crazy about jellyfishes, a jellyfish freak type of guy. He loved the idea. He was, well, jellyfishes have a problem. You can't put them in a regular tank, in a regular aquarium, because they are 90-something, 98% water. So if you put a jellyfish there, the jellyfish gets sucked by the filtering system, and you end up with soup of jellyfish. Really sad for the jellyfish. So you need very special type of tanks. The guy could do it. He had done it before. It was expensive to prototype and to do it, this type of aquarium. So what did he do? He set a very low threshold, $3,000 for the project, and he put the project there on Kickstarter to make sure about how many people would be willing or interested in having this type of aquarium. So for the most, this was about, hey, let's check it. Am I the only freak who's interested in that? Or maybe there's other people around. And he found out, of course, that the project went well above his goal, and he found out the size of the market and to what extent this project could be a success. In many cases, this is extremely important I mean, this is going to be a product for one person, for 10 people, or for 1 million people. Who knows? So Kickstarter is also very interesting. What do you feel? Am I leaving anything behind? Or,
No, I think you covered the story of crowdfunding very, very well. And I'm a big fan of Kickstarter, to be honest. And
But
no. I think you captured the essence of where Kickstarter is good at: validating a market, pre-selling, gathering a crowd of people that will support you going to market. I think that's absolutely vital. What I think Kickstarter is not as good with is if you want to buy the Pebble watch, which was a huge success on Kickstarter, you want to buy the Pebble watch, so you put in some money, and eventually you will get a Pebble watch. You may not get one, but eventually you will, and that's great. That's fantastic. If you're looking at the next Facebook, you may think, well, this is a great idea. I'm going to put some money on it, and I'm going to get a coffee mug or a T-shirt. That's fantastic as well. What is not as fantastic is Facebook actually doing an IPO, being worth billions of dollars, and you still having just a cool T-shirt. I mean, the T-shirt is cool, but you risk your money on something, and you're not getting part of the upside. That's exactly where we get in. Seedrs basically allows anyone to invest in the equity of early-stage startups. It works a lot like Kickstarter. It is based on the same principles because, as I said, we love Kickstarter and we love what they're doing, but it's adapted to startups, where if you put money into a startup, you should be getting part of the upside. You should be getting shares. You should be getting equity. You're taking risks, so you should get a significant reward as well. So through Seedrs, you're able to invest very small amounts, up to whatever you want to invest, in the equity of early stage startups. I just wanted to do a little test here. How many of you are investors? Can you raise your arm if you're an investor? Okay, I was expecting to see a few more hands up, but still, keep your hands up, please. How many of you have made at least one investment in the last year? Okay. How many of you have made at least 10 investments on the last year? Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, not that many hands. My hand is up. I've made more than 10 investments through Seedrs. I'm definitely not rich. I don't have that much money. I've put all my money onto Seedrs, so I'm basically broke. But I still have enough money to put some money through the platform. And that's a key aspect of investing in startups, which is it's very difficult for someone who doesn't have a lot of money to effectively diversify their investment. And diversification, when we're talking about early stage startups, is absolutely critical. So unless you have a lot of money, there was no way for you to invest in the next Facebook. Now there is. Seedrs is leading the pack, but there are a number of other platforms that are popping up. The US is a very hot market for that at the moment, with the Jobs Act about to go into full effect. So it's very, very, very exciting times. We've been lucky to be the first platform of its kind anywhere in the world to be fully regulated and authorized. At the moment we're operating in the UK, but within the next week or two we're going to be expanding internationally. So it's very, very exciting times, and I think equity crowdfunding will complement the offer that exists right now through Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and a number of other platforms, but we'll apply that same effect to startups and will effectively democratize investment in startups. That's my view on it.
I'm very interested in a couple of things coming from your practical experience. First of all, it's about what happens. What do you think happens when we reduce the volume of the market? We are witnessing that Kickstarter projects, Indiegogo projects in the US market, some of them go really high. We all have the 11 million of the Pebble watch in mind. Whenever I tell about this, I tell my students about this project, they all say, "Oh my God, I would have taken the 11 million and run away. Nobody would have ever found me." But which is sad on one hand. But so we have this idea in mind that, hey, you go to Kickstarter and what happens? You might find out that your project can break a record, can become really big. But what we are witnessing is that in many other countries, particularly in Spain, crowdfunding, the biggest project in crowdfunding is about 20,000 euros. That's it.
Yeah.
So to what extent do you think this is a limiting factor?
I definitely think it is a limiting factor. I think that crowdfunding, be it rewards-based crowdfunding or equity crowdfunding, benefits a lot from network effects and reaching critical mass. I think in terms of rewards-based crowdfunding, it's a huge market in terms of basically the whole world is a market. So I think we're going to see like one or two big winners. There's not going to be a lot of space for regional players, in my opinion.
Winner takes all.
Winner takes all. It's one of those markets. It's like social networks. Equity crowdfunding is slightly different, but the same principle applies. The main difference is it's a very regulated market. We're talking about hardcore investments. It's a financial service, so the regulatory framework is tricky and there are lots of gray areas and it's different from one country to another. So what I see is a big winner appearing in the US. The US is a huge market. It's going to be mostly unified in that sense. And another big winner appearing maybe in Europe, maybe expanding to the rest of the world. Asia is a major market, Brazil, India. So it's a little bit more regional, but still, it's winner takes all. So in each region, I think we're going to see a huge winner. We expect Seedrs to be the winner outside of the US, and then someone else winning the US market.
My second question was about this regulatory framework that you mentioned. In the US, there is no equity crowdfunding just yet. It's going to happen real soon, or so we hope. But it wasn't happening because of protection for the small shareholder, etc. So what do you think, how are we being able to overcome all these theoretical problems, and then how do we make sure that people are not running with shareholders' money or this type of thing?
I mean, just about the US very quickly, so the Jobs Act was passed, and the Jobs Act will allow full-blown equity crowdfunding.
Once
the second provision kicks in. At the moment, it's only for accredited investors, so people with significant amounts of money. In Europe, that's different, not necessarily better, not necessarily worse, but it's different, and it's different in each country. There's no common framework for Europe in that sense. The European Commission is working on one, but it's going to take a while. So the way we found we could do this is, first of all, by becoming fully authorized. It took us almost 2 years to become fully authorized. It's a complicated bureaucratic process. But now that we have that authorization, we can work in the UK and we can expand internationally. It's a little bit of a gray area. I wouldn't go too much into the details, but we can go international because all regulated activities are conducted in the UK. So the companies that raise funds through us have to have a top company in the UK, regardless of where they are, but they have to have a top company in the UK, and the investment is done in the UK, regardless of where the investor and the company actually are. And that's what allows us to expand internationally. However, we're still not able to expand to the US because in the US the regulations are a little bit more complicated, and they do take action if an external company comes and operates in the US if they're not playing by US rules. So that's a slightly different market. But outside of that, we're going to be able to operate under UK law only. But it's a very fragmented regulatory regime for sure.
I'm also noticing that there are some equity crowdfunding places, like there's one in Germany, that are extremely selective with the project. They are only allowing a very small handful of projects to go through the process, and they present those projects to potential shareholders, versus others who are opening it a little bit more. And what do you think the approach should be?
I think it's very difficult to say which one is the best option. Personally, because of what I said before, I believe it's a winner-takes-all kind of market, and you need scale. It's a marketplace, so you need lots of buyers and lots of sellers. Otherwise, there will not be an overlap between the desires of the buyers and the desires of the sellers. So I think you need scale. I think you need it to be a little bit more mass-marketed. That's what I believe in, but it's very tricky to say. Just to pick up on your previous question as well, you mentioned investor protection, and that's a very big deal. That's a very key point, and that was a very good question, and I kind of forgot about it.
Question that is 4 billion.
Yeah, so investor protection is absolutely key. It's tricky. I think it's even more complicated for Kickstarter because there are they really have no way to protect it.
It is a donation with the risk involved.
Yeah, it's reputation, it's peer pressure, it's all of that, but it's a risk. In our particular case, and I think we're the only platform that actually does this, we sit between the investors and the startup. So we do due diligence, we do all the legal paperwork, and we act as nominees for the investors. So the startup actually only has to talk to us. We're the only shareholder in the cap table. Everyone is a beneficial owner, so they do benefit from the upside, but we represent the investors in talking with the startup.
So the startup
which
is like
means
taking a loan? Or
No. It's full-blown equity investment, but for each share, we're the nominee for the shareholder, and the shareholder has the beneficial upside of the shares.
You take a commission.
We take a commission. But that basically means that we can put in place shareholder agreements, and through those contracts we can protect the shareholders, minority rights, tag along, drag along, all the regular protections that a typical VC or business angel would have. So that's our take on it.
And my final question, I've been hearing through some of the... Not yet. Teeny tiny one, please.
23 seconds. We have a little bit more.
Through an alumni who's in Germany, and he ran through a couple of rounds in equity crowdfunding about the, let's say, the non-financial benefits of it. How does it feel to have these people supporting the project, but that also become sellers of the project? So how do you...
In that sense, it's a lot like Kickstarter. We took the best that Kickstarter has and applied it to our model as well. So after you actually make the investment, you are still connected with the startup through our website. So you have a post-investment part of the website where you get regular reports. You can ask questions to the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur can reach out to their investor base and ask for help, do market research, all of that stuff. So we kind of take the same approach as Kickstarter, but we integrate that approach with the actual website, and you're able to do that through the website.
I've been told it's a great experience, and actually one of the options that every entrepreneur should think about, even if they don't need the money. Actually here, in the Spanish market, most people need the money normally. But there are very, very interesting effects and beneficial effects even when you don't need the money, just in terms of market research, etc., community and all that. So I think we have a video there. So
yes, could you just run the video that really summarizes what Seedrs is all about? Just 2 minutes, very, very quick.
Investing in startups can be because the returns from a portfolio of startups can be huge. Investing in startups can be brilliant because the returns from a portfolio of startups can be huge. You share risks and rewards with businesses, so if they become the next big thing, you're a part of that success. And it can be exciting. You help businesses get off the ground and can be involved as they grow. But it can cost a lot of money to invest in startups today, and the legal bureaucracy and paperwork can be overwhelming. Seedrs changes that. Seedrs is a revolutionary, new online platform for investing in startups. Here's how it works. An entrepreneur with a great idea creates a profile stating how much capital they want to raise and how much equity they'll offer in return. After a short questionnaire to show us that you understand the risks, you can then review the profiles, decide which startups to invest in and how much. When a startup reaches its target, and we're happy that all the legals are in order, we transfer the money raised in exchange for shares in the company. We handle all the paperwork, hold the shares as your nominee, and manage them on your behalf. So, you can watch your investments from a distance and get involved if you like, while entrepreneurs concentrate on creating great businesses. And if you sell your shares or the company pays a dividend, we pass the proceeds directly on to you. It's as simple as that. Join Seedrs now and start investing today.
Okay, and now for another exciting module of internet startups. This time growth. Ladies and gentlemen, this next opportunity has to do with creativity. These people decided to build a platform that would make it easy for you to access creative talent. Well, they just didn't build a platform. Today, they have over 100,000 registered users and professionals on this platform. Ladies and gentlemen, adtriboo.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Juan Ramon Moreno, and I am the managing partner of adtriboo. And I'm here because I need your help. I need your help to save Lola. Lola, say hello.
Hi.
Lola is an entrepreneur, and she's got a business idea that she has the thread of the market every single day. So we have to skip that thread and keep her alive. That's our goal today. So Lola, to tell you the truth, she's got a very good business idea, and I'm trying to help her with my hints and my experience, but she's not very much convinced with what I've told her. So I need the expert's opinion, and that's you, and that's why we're here. So I have 3 questions for you. The business idea of Lola requires of a very qualified team in the initial phase of the business, and so she wanted to hire people and put it in the fixed structure of the company. And instead of that, I told her, why don't you think of having freelancers and work by project? So what do you think? What's better? What's your opinion? That's my question to you. A, fixed structure, or B, by project? What do you think? By project. Okay, let's have a look. Be careful. Yes, B, excellent. So it's okay, it's a good point. Thank you. So let's go ahead with the second question. Second question is, she wanted to use the traditional recruitment company for that. And I told her, why don't you have a look to these websites when you have thousands of freelancers, and then you can select them there. So what do you think it's better? Traditional or internet? Internet. Okay. Wait, let's see. Maybe you have to cut her hair. B, excellent, yes. Okay, so she must be sweating, I think. But be calm. I mean, everything is going to be all right. I hope so. So third point. The company is going to be based in Spain, so she's going to hire people. And she said, I'm going to hire people locally here. And I told her, okay, think of searching for the talent wherever it is, no matter where it is. Use internet for that. So what do you think? Local or global? Okay, global. Wait. Yes, global. That's excellent. So you really saved Lola today. So a big applause for them. By the way, Lola is our project manager, and the executioner is the CTO of the company. Yeah, and I also believe that you have to search for talent wherever it is. We are a platform with over 120,000 talented professionals with a big variety of profiles where you can hire by project anything you need. How it works is very simple. The client posts a job, the candidates say their proposals, including a cost estimation and the works they've done before similar to those, and the client, in the end of the process, selects and hires a freelancer. And the good thing is it's for free. The client doesn't pay €1 to adtriboo for that. It's free for the client. So we are now in a big growth, as you can see there. We have presence in Spain, and we are focused on LATAM. So we have presence in Mexico, Chile, and Colombia, and we are expanding in other countries. But this growth is very significant, as you can see. The traction is important in the few weeks, months. We're looking for 500,000, and that's an email address specifically created for this purpose. So thanks a lot, and I hope you write has.